Part 1, we discussed Golioth's new format for reference design documentation and how these guides aim to provide detailed instructions on how to build these designs using off-the-shelf hardware.
We've got two designs now that support our follow-along hardware, and we've got fully detailed guides that'll walk you through exactly how to build these kits yourself. So the one on the left-hand side is the air quality monitor. We took the Aludel-based reference design and used exactly the same two clipboards. There's a weather clipboard and a air quality clipboard. And so this design can measure temperature, pressure, humidity, CO2, and particulate matter that's in the air. And this design is built using exactly the same firmware as the Golioth Aludel-based design. So you literally don't change any of the code. All you have to do is provide a different target to the build command, and the firmware will be built specifically for this DK-based reference design, the follow-along hardware design, versus the Aludel-based one. So you get basically exactly the same thing that Golioth had built, but in your own development kit.
Golioth supports a ton of different hardware stuff out there, right? A lot of different platforms, a lot of different chipsets, different RTOSes. This one is using Zephyr, the real-time operating system and ecosystem that's open source. It all targets many different types of hardware, including the NRF9160, like you said here. And this is then the NRF Connect SDK on top of Zephyr. All of these things are targetable there. In theory, this, we could go and target this towards other hardware, or our customers could go and target this towards other hardware. If you're not using cellular, maybe you want to use something maybe in the mid-market, you could go to something like the RT1060, or you could go to ESP32. All of the things that we cover and we talk about on our site, you could go and retarget it there. And now it's kind of showing just these interfaces. This is actually the Arduino Uno interface on a development kit board that then gets mapped to the click headers. And it just shows the flexibility of pins on hardware. If you then program that into your board files, you get to just have different targets, like you're saying, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we've had it kind of in mind from the beginning of starting this follow-along hardware that we would be able to add additional guides for different partner development kits. So this isn't just specific to Nordic boards. The whole follow-along hardware program is designed so that we can add additional boards from other vendors, and you can choose a board that has maybe a Wi-Fi interface or a board that has a cellular interface, and we'll have detailed guides that will walk you through how to install the programmers for that microcontroller or for that board, how to download a pre-built firmware binary. One of the things that we've done is we've released pre-built firmware binaries on GitHub. So you don't even have to go through in the initial process. You don't have to go through installing a tool chain or building that firmware. You can just download a firmware blob from GitHub, use the programmer to install that on the board, and you can literally get up and running from assembling the hardware to connected to Golioth in about 5 minutes. The longest part of the process is just reading the instructions on the page. But we go through how to program the firmware, how to register for an account on Golioth, how to provision the device, and how to connect it and get data streaming in. And it's
if
really
it was any easier, we'd be coming to your house and measuring the temperature, pressure, humidity, whatever the dev kit does ourselves. That's pretty much the only way we can make it any simpler. To do that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, we really tried to make this the fastest and easiest way possible that you can get started with Golioth. And we tried to also reduce as much of the uncertainty as possible. So you're starting with a known hardware that's been tested and is widely available. We provide the pre-built firmware binaries that you can just install on there. So there's really no soldering involved. This is about as easy as it is to plug some hardware together and get that connected to the internet.